Mambo, Habari, how are you doing? This is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all my faithful subscribers. I want to say welcome to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Welcome in the room. This is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. I decided to do a video today, and I wanted to talk about. Well, there are people that ask me if they can come to relocate to Africa and if they could work. And the answer is, for the most part, no. The answer is no. Now, if you go online and you find some type of volunteer, something you can volunteer, or some kind of, if you have a specialized skill, like maybe a doctor or engineer, something like that, you may be able to find something online where they'll help you with the work permit and all that stuff. But for the most part, the normal people like us, um, uh, like a lot of us, put it that way, we don't. Our goal is not to come here to work. Our goal is to come here to create jobs and contribute to the economy. So, regardless to which country you decide you want to repatriate to, specifically on the continent of Africa, it's best to um, plan to contribute to the economy, meaning using your maybe education, your skills, your resources to enrich the continent, to work with the locals, to build up the continent. So that is the goal. That should be the goal of everyone who wants to repatriate from the Western countries and come back to relocate to Africa. Um, so I just wanted to talk about that, um, how you can use your skills, your training, your education to uh, work, live, and even do business on the continent of Africa. So that being said, let's get into it. So yes, this is Diaspora Connective. I didn't say my name is Wanda. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to discuss how you can use your experience, education, and your skills to uh, work in Africa, to build in Africa, to build up Africa and your resources, of course. So yeah, there are ways that you can do it. So for example, when you decide that you want to relocate to a country, it's good to do a little research online to see what areas that are needed. Um, it's best to visit with that, but you can still do some research in um, what what skills that you have could benefit the country in terms of what you can bring as an asset. What can you bring as an asset to that country that you plan to repatriate to? So, for example, for me, I have a bachelor's degree in business and I have a lot of experience working for different Fortune 500 companies, for a motor company. I work for an attorney's office. So there, the different skills that you acquire, whether you are warehouse, whether you are shipping, whether you are construction, whether you are landscape, whatever you do, you can bring those skills here and you could basically teach the locals how to um, um, improve on the way that they do things. So they they have all these specific skills here as well, but they just do things differently from how we do it in the West. And it may be more of they do it the longer way, especially some of the service positions. So you can come create a business where you train people on how to landscape or how to um, construction is something that they do, but they do it differently. So you can train how to be more efficient in what they do, as well as if you have the resources, you can um, purchase some kind of equipment. And then with that equipment, on that equipment, you can actually train people on how to use the equipment and how to make their um, make what they do seem a little bit more seamless, a little bit more efficient. so you can basically tweak or improve the way that they do things, because a lot of the way that they do, now this is the service positions, but a lot of the way that they do things is kind of like the long way. Like I've been known to do that myself. My son my son is 26, and he'll see, especially with technology, he'll see how I'm using my phone or the computer or something, and he'll watch, and he's like, why do you do it that way? You're just going all around. Like, he's always showing me a shortcut to with my technology. And so even me, um, the young people, the Gen X, are showing us how to be more efficient in what we do. And so you can look at the continent kind of like that. It's like some of the, um, even though the Gen X, they are sharp, they catch on quickly. So just showing them how to do something to make their job more efficient, whether they are cutting grass with the machete, um, or they're doing fundies, or like mechanics, they're repairing things. And a lot of times with the fundies, I noticed that they don't use the some of the tools that, you know, some of us just automatically keep in our house. Like me, as when I had my place, I would always have like a hammer, screwdriver. I would always have like pliers, different stuff that I would buy for me, that because some stuff that some stuff around the house we can fix. We don't have to like call someone to pay them to fix it. We can manage a plunger, stuff like that. So wherever I live, the fundi that works for that property, or the groundsman, they don't have those a lot of the tools. So when they come to fix something, they always ask me for my knife, for a butter knife. Like, they use a butter knife like a screwdriver. So I noticed that it happened more than one time when I went to different places. Foodies come, unless it's like a foodie for like the stove or the refrigerator, or like a TV or a computer, something like that. They have the tools, but just around the house, like they're coming to repair stuff like around your house. They just use what they have. So that could be something that people provide a service where they have tools that maybe they ran out, or something like, just if you come visit, you see, take a look around and visit and go around and just see what areas you could contribute to improve, to make it more efficient for the locals when they do things. This is a job. This is a skill. This is something that we could work together and teach them. So the goal is to teach them what we know, what we learned when you decide you want to come back. So you may not always have the resources to be able to maybe do something big time, big equipment, and all the capital. You may not have the capital to do big, massive projects, but you have the intellectual properties. That's just as important. That can be just as important as the capital, or the physical equipment, the assets that you may not have, but you may have the know-how. You may have the way you can teach them the skills necessary to do certain jobs that maybe they didn't know how to do. They're kind of handymen. So continental Africans, I noticed, they're handy men, and they can, and women, they can basically figure things out. They can do almost anything. So it's not like one job that they only work on stoves or only work on refrigerators. They can they can pretty much do anything, because they learn through life. They learn how to fix different stuff. And just like a lot of the men in the West, the husbands and the sons, they they start to learn how to fix stuff around the house. They have a house, a farm, or even apartments. They just learn, instead of calling someone and paying someone to do it. They figure it out. They get some tools. They go online. They go on YouTube. They build their own structure. So Africans do the same thing. They figure it out. So don't feel like you don't have anything to contribute, or because you want to come to Africa, that you need to have a job and that you need to be working for someone else. At this point, the way the dollar is headed, the way the economy is going, we should all be looking for ways that we can use our personal skills to make money. Um, whether you come into Africa, whether you're leaving America, and or if you're staying in America, you should be at this point not so focused on working for other people and getting a job with other people. You should be focusing on trying to build your skills, trying to use your personal skills to make money for yourself. A lot of people, like even on YouTube, people get online and they don't always know. Uh, Start a YouTube account. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. There are people in the middle age starting YouTube channels. There are people they call elderly starting YouTube channels. There are younger people. So there's no age limit. There have been people that are so-called elderly, 60 something, 70, whatever, and they started a YouTube channel and they shot right up faster than some of the younger people. So it does not matter what your age is. People are interested in like your life, your experience, what you got going on. So you just never know what the audience may be interested in. So you just turn your camera on like I'm doing and you just start sharing your experience, your education, your skills with people, um, and just keep recording your videos, and eventually you'll get to be monetized and you'll get to grow your channel. But the goal, I think, is to utilize what is in you at this point. Every human being has skills, experience, that they can share. Even teenagers, even middle agers, even everybody, they have some type of a skill, ability, education, something that they can share with others that can better their life or better make it more efficient for people to do certain things. So, example for me, I went to school for business administration and I got a bachelor's degree in business, but in America, I hardly ever used it. Like I was doing jobs that didn't even require a degree because every time that I had applied for a job back in my 20s, after I got my degree, I got it at like 25. And when I was applying for jobs, people kept saying, you need experience, you need experience. So I'm thinking, had just graduated from college and I'm like, I don't have no experience because I just finished school. And so I was frustrated because I was like, I got a degree. You know, they say, oh, go to school, go to college, get a degree. You can, get a good job, this and that. Yeah, you do all that, spend all that money, you get your degree, and then you can't even find a job because everybody's like, you don't have no experience. And then a lot of times people are not willing to give experience unless you know somebody, unless you're the right color in America. Um, and so that can hold you back as well. But if I knew then in my 20s what I know now, I would have started back then trying to think of ways to use my own skills and experience and education to build a brand for myself, to create a small business, to use my knowledge to help people, to educate people. Like I didn't, I wasn't I was just, how we're raised in the West. In America, we're raised to, um, told to go to school, go to college just to get a good job and be a long time employee until you retire. That's it. Never encouraged to be self employed, to be a business owner, to own your own land and have your own house. Like, never push that to us at young ages because a lot of us were in the low income um, um, bracket. So people didn't really, a lot of our parents didn't really think like that. Some of the parents had houses and stuff, but in my family, I did have my great aunt. She had a house and all of us piled in her house. But me as my parents and me and my sibling, my parents, we never had a house of our own. We always lived with a relative. So it wasn't something that was pushed at a young age, encouraged at a young age to, you know, you want to get land, you want to have your own house, you want to have your own business. None of that was pushed. And so I had to think about this at a later date, as I was, as an adult after I finished college. That was my mindset. Oh, I wasn't even thinking about buying land. I was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about buying a house either. I was just like, I just want to get a good job. That was my goal. And so limited. But now that my mind it's like I'm awakened to who I really am, my potential, and my mind changed. I have a mind shift, a mindset change. Um, Realizing that the skills that we have acquired, the education and the resources, we can use that to better someone else's life and assist those, especially if we decide we want to repatriate or leave and move to another country. You want to be an asset to that country. You don't want to come here and feed off the system and be a burden and be a problem. Especially if you want to leave the West and you want to go to another country, live there, or do business there, or you want to work with it, basically international. You want to be like an international business person, which is it's weird because when I think about when I was in school, I had the option to get a degree in international business, but then I was like, nah, I don't feel like learning all those languages because I think we had to take some other language classes, and I was like, I don't feel like it. But now that I'm here, I'm like, yeah, I should have probably did that because I would have had a different mindset about business, international business. But anyway, I'm doing it now. Like I am doing an international business because I created one over here and I'm not from here. So, international business, but the skills, the education, the resources, all that you have and have acquired, you can share. Like I'm constantly teaching when I work with them, locals, how to do things in all areas, um, and even how to uh, think in that I'm telling them, look, okay, we'll do, because you're giving them guidance and you're sharing with them what you want to happen in your business, especially if you create a business and you're the CEO and you control operations. You're sharing with your partners how you do business, how the business is done in America. Not that we're trying to come here to make them be like that, but the thinking process in okay, first we do A, and then we do B, and then we do C. So you kind of walking them through the process of how you yourself want your business to be run. So as you're sharing it with them and they're getting an understanding, they're learning how to do a business in that way. They know how to do business. A lot of them have their own businesses, but they do business differently. But then you give them a different perspective on how to do business. When you come from the West, you share the knowledge that you have of doing business, how you set things up, and how to do things efficiently, and how to work effectively and efficiently, and just and use certain tools and equipment. It's different things that you can teach them, little things that make a difference in them in how they do business. So they have the perspective that they have. They do business a certain way. Then here you are with your perspective. So you have theirs and we have theirs and ours, and they bring them together. And that marriage with the two, the way they do business and the way we do business together, that'll make a perfect um, product. That'll make a perfect product and a more rounded mindset where they're like kind of like open to different ways of doing things. Because from what I noticed in doing business here in Tanzania is um, people get set in the way that they do things, right? And that's both sides. It's like internationally and then the way we do things. Both sides are set in how they do business. But if we can learn both sides, if both people can learn each other's side and then you come together, that would be a well-rounded mindset of a person where they could, do business. And if things have to change, they're okay or open to adjusting. So a lot of people can't adjust. They say sometimes it's harder or more difficult for y'all. I'm sorry, I keep reaching back here, but my back is itching because I think a mosquito bit me. And this is my hairbrush, but I use this as a back brusher. I know, ghetto. Y'all know we figure it out. I don't have a back scratcher, so I use my brush. But anyway, so it makes a more rounded mindset in that you're more open to say, okay, I normally, like a local would say, okay, I normally do business like this. And then if something happens and they can't do it that way, they're open in their mind to say, okay, let's try this. But I've noticed that doing business here in Tanzania, a lot of the locals will just say, no, that's not possible. That's just not possible. They'll just say, if it's different from what they're used to, they'll just say, no, that's not possible. So instead of them feeling that way, because it's just one way that they're used to doing it, they don't want to think of they don't want to get outside of the way that they're used to doing things because they just don't, it's just too much for them to change, right? They'll be a little bit more, if you give them another perspective, they'll be a little bit more open to say, wow, how you think we should do it? You know what I'm saying? Uh, what do you think? I have no idea. How do you think we should do it? So they'll be more open to say it that way, and then you can make a suggestion. Well, let's try this and let's try that. So that's what happens when you bring your skills, education, experience here to specifically Africa, and you're partnering with the local. You guys listen to each other, even with us. We're used to doing things a certain way, but we have to realize that we come here to Africa and we move to the continent or any other country outside of where you're from, they're going to do things differently. So you have to be open in your mind to incorporate the way that they do things because of the landscape. So, yeah, it's good to teach the new, modern things that you know from the West, but it's also uh, important to consider the fact that this is how they do things. So we have to incorporate how they do things uh, into what we want to do because this is the country, it's their country. So we can't come into a country that we weren't born and raised in. We don't know the culture, and then bring everything we know and just take over the way that they do things. We can't do it that way. Even if it's our business, we have to incorporate how they do things into what we want to do to make something new or just make something improved. So the way that they do things, you want to improve the way that they do things. So instead of changing it completely to the way we do things in the West, just it's almost like you revise it. You're revising the way that they do things to make it more efficient, make it more effective, to improve the way that things are done, so it won't take as much time. It won't take as much money. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video because I wanted to share with you guys. I wanted to share with my family. I hate saying you guys. I wanted to share with my family how you can move to Africa and use, or any foreign country for that matter, and use your skills, experience, education, and resources. So, four things you can use: skills, education, experience, skills, education, experience, and money. Four things you can use when you move to Africa. So you don't have to limit yourself and say, "Oh, I can't move because I'm not going to be able to work there." You know, there's not enough jobs for people to foreigners, especially to come here and work because the jobs here are set aside for the locals, and so they already don't have enough jobs for themselves, right? So we as an asset to the country, we should be creating jobs for them. Even if it's a little job that you created, for example, it could be hiring a dada or hiring a brother to, you know, do something around your property. If you have property, if you have a business, or if you have people a business and you hire people to work for you. You don't always have to have a business to create a job for someone. So you can create a job. Like when I first got here, I created jobs for drivers. So when I first arrived here, I met drivers if I met like Uber drivers and they spoke pretty good English, I asked them, is it all right if I keep your number? So if I ever need a ride somewhere that, I can call you. And they would say, sure. So these specific drivers I will call like weekly or every other week to take me places. So that's kind of steady income for them, income that they probably would not normally make, you know, just on the regular driving around because we're doing more, we're going more places. And so yeah, so that's creating a job. If you have children, you need a dada. If you have children, you need someone to cook for you. You need someone to help you with the children, like a nanny. That's creating a job. If you um, rent a house and you have to keep up the landscape, you need um, a groundsman. That's creating a job. You might want to renting a house. You might want to hire a security person. That's creating a job. So it doesn't have to be a big major business situation to start. It can start off small and you can work your way up, but you do want to come to any country that you decide you want to repatriate to, you want to um, move to, you want to be an asset to that country. You don't want to drain it. You don't want to cause problems there. You don't want to be a liability. You want to be an asset to that country. You want to contribute to the economy. You want to uh, assist in the improvement and the betterment of that country. And you may not have the resources to do a major project. A lot of people don't have money to do major projects, but you can start out small and work your way up. It's okay to do it that way. That's what I do. I started out very small and I can work my way up. I have room to grow, but I don't want to come here and start out massive and then hoping that things work out and I don't really know the culture. I don't know the climate. I don't know the language, and so that's kind of like a recipe for maybe failure because you're starting out so massively and you're in a different place. You're not in America. And even in America, when you start out big like that, it can still fail. A lot of businesses fail in the first, 5 years? So I say start off small with whatever project you plan on doing, whatever business you plan on opening. You want to start out small and work your way up. Give yourself room, wiggle room to grow. Give it, even if you have the money, even if you, just because you have the money does not mean you have to expend it all like that. You want to start out very small. Think of it like you don't have, even if you have the money, look at it when you come to a country outside of America and you're a U.S. citizen. If you want to create a business, you want to think, even if you have the money, think small. Think of something very minimal, a business that you can do that's very minimal, and then you can build it up. So you start off with that first layer and see how that goes, test it out. It's like, okay, I'm getting this in the swing of this. Let's take a step up. So it's a gradual growth in your business instead of a major come to the country and then you have all this capital, you spending all this money. If you got it going on like that, then you do. And you know, you can afford to lose it like that, go ahead and do it. But I say start off small. That would be my advice. But anyway, I wanted to do this video because I've had people ask me, "Can we work there? Do you work there?" No, I never attempted to work. Well, actually, when I first got here, I did apply for a position at the embassy when I first arrived here because I was like, maybe let me see what happens. I was just like, let me see. It never came through, so yeah. And then I'm glad I didn't because yeah, I don't want to work. I didn't want to work for them. So yeah, but anyway, thank you so much for everyone tuning in to my video. Hopefully this information is helpful for those who are interested in leaving the West, no matter where you are. And if you're of African descent, I specialize and I help those of African descent, those who were dispersed during the transatlantic slave trade, the six region African diaspora, the historical diaspora, the ones who were dispersed during the transatlantic slave trade. I help those who want to come back and relocate and repatriate back to Africa. I help you. I do travel and business consultations, specifically in Tanzania, but a lot of the information I share, it can be beneficial for you no matter what African country or even what international country you decide to relocate to or move to. There's going to be a lot of movement from the West, specifically America, out of there because it's a lot going on. If you know, like I know, you need to go. You need to get up out of there some kind of way, or you need to have a backup country that you can go to uh, in case things get really bad. Actually, when things get really bad. You think they're bad now, they're going to get a lot worse. So you need to have some other place that you can go, whether it's Africa, whether it's Asia, whether it's, yeah, I don't want to, for me, I don't want to recommend any other country besides Africa. If you're of Afro descent, because there are 54 countries in Africa on the continent, and so it's something for everyone. It's something for everyone. So it does not matter what Like I've had some people say, "Well, I like my comforts." They say that, but so, not but. So, if you do feel like that, then there are a lot of countries in Africa that have that modern way of living. South Africa, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Nairobi, Lusaka, Zambia. Like, it's places that you can go. Egypt. It's places that you can go on a continent if you want to live modern life or whatever, city life. I don't know. So don't think that you can't find a place in Africa because you want to be. I think you want to be in a place where everybody looks like you, and it's easier for me to assimilate. I mean, it's easier for me to assimilate into a culture where people look like me. I'm more apt to want to learn the language. I'm more apt to want to be around the locals and see how they do things. Like I'm excited about that because the people they look like me, they got skin like me. I'm not around a bunch of other people, other nations. I want to be around people that look like me, that are African. So yeah, so that's kind of what this video is about. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll do another video next week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit on the notification bell so you can be notified. So whenever I do a video, you will be notified. Don't forget thumbs up. Mm, 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 mm. Thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next, salama, peace, family. And see you guys in the next video. Bye.